Hey everyone, welcome to today's Facebook Live. My name is Debbie Sadify and I'm here with Deborah Blosnitz, and I am so pleased to have Christina Miller here with us as well. We are going to dive into a really special conversation about the Elite Mentorship Forum, also known as EMF, with Christina, and she's going to share some of her journey and experiences with us. Now, EMF is all about unlocking your potential, challenging your old beliefs and what's sitting inside you that you don't even know is there, creating lasting change in your life. So whether you are curious about personal growth or looking for inspiration, I know that Christina's story will be very insightful. And if you are interested in learning more, we have this fabulous masterclass that you can watch for free. All you need to do is type USM in the comments for either Deborah, myself, or Christina, and we will hook you up with some amazing information on the 5 secrets to self-mastery. Christina, thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We're going to start off by asking you what inspired you to join Elite Mentorship Forum in the first place?
Well, it wasn't, it was a process. First, I stumbled into the personal growth industry in general. I'd never even been aware of personal growth until I was in a really bad car accident and I was unable to work. I was at home in pain and I was so depressed and lonely and unhappy. I was online and I saw Peter Sage and this USM course. So my journey with Peter started with his beginner course, the USM. And then in the following couple of years, I just wanted to learn more and more. And I started taking other courses, and that led me to the Elite Mentorship Forum.
Very nice.
Excellent. Lovely.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you survived your car accident and that you're doing well, because that is a serious trauma to your mental and physical being, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah. Huge.
So sorry. Our second question usually is, what about Peter's message resonated with you differently than others? So maybe if you're saying you didn't do anything before, but what resonated with him and you really, like, what made you say this, that I don't know what this is, but this sounds amazing, or I need to do this?
Well, when I started USM, I also took a couple other smaller courses. I followed a few different people, and in the following years, it was just Peter that I kept going back to because I just love the way he teaches, and some of his insights, like, they just get you thinking. Like, just a simple way he'll say something, it's like, and that alone can change the outlook of your entire day and how you do things. And I really like that about him. He hooked me with, and he's funny at the way he delivers his information too. Like, these are really big topics, but he teaches in such like a uplifting and joyful way. And it just really resonated with me. I really enjoy learning from Peter.
I love that. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone actually say that before, but it is true, right? Like, he's almost joking as he's telling you things are not as you believe them to be now, right? Like, but he brings that humor to it. So I love that you pointed that out.
Well, for me, it was important because, like you mentioned, trauma. I was at a very fear-based life. So the people I wanted to learn from, I had to feel safe from, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And something about Peter, it's like, this guy, he's done the research, he's taken all these concepts, he knows what's best for us to actually use. And that really was impactful as well, because there is so much information out there. And just the fact, like, he delivers this, like each chapter, or sorry, each module of EMF could be its own course, but he's compiled it all for us. And it's huge, which is why it wasn't my first thing. I started off, like I said, USM, and then worked my way up as I got more into personal growth and more okay with myself on my healing journey too.
Excellent. Love it.
That's very nice. And I know Peter definitely has a style that's very different. And maybe about a little bit easy to understand as well. Like, he's done the research. He's looked into this. This is not his first rodeo, for sure. And so with that, what emotions were you experiencing before you embarked on the EMF journey that you decided to go on?
Well, it was New Year's actually that when I was like, okay, I'm the next one. I'm getting my everything together. I was so lonely and I was just struggling with not being depressed and being happy and just really, really struggling with some heavy vibration type emotions. And I also really struggled with dealing with emotions. Like I wasn't able to process my emotions at that time. I felt really stuck in them, like my health it had improved a lot, but then I felt like I kind of plateaued and I wasn't getting better. And I felt like I was almost stuck in a rut on every aspect. And EMF was like the thing that I'm like, yes, this is the thing that I can do that's going to get me out of the rut. And it did, of course. That's why we're here.
Right?
That's
And we're so glad.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
That rut.
Right? Well, I think that's what a lot of people find themselves in a rut until they realize that, hey, I could actually do something about this. And then take the time to find someone that can say, I can show you the way. Right? So that's a big part of it. So was there a specific moment when you realized this EMF is working in my life? And could you describe it for us?
Yeah, I live with my son. He's in his early 20s and he's seen all the phases since, the car accident and the healing and, my emotions and me struggling with my emotions. And I can't remember the incident, what happened, but he looked at me, he's like, nothing really phases you anymore, does it? And I was like, yeah, you're right. Nothing's phasing me. Like I've got this. I'm managing my emotions. I'm managing the struggles, the stress. Like it was just like, yeah. And just him recognizing it allowed me to recognize it was just super. It was a super powerful moment here in the living room that I had that. Like, yeah, I am. And then a
Right?
second time was when that Rise documentary came out. I watched it and seeing myself on there, I was kind of taken back a little bit of what I said, first of all, because it's like I forgot how bad it was at first year, and it
Right.
really made me step back and realize like I have come a long way, not only since taking EMF at that time, but since, the car accident and the amount of healing I've done. And it was a profound moment for me as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Go ahead, Deb.
I was going to say, seeing yourself in a video, isn't that what everyone says? Like your son saw the growth in you, right? Even though he's with you every day. And then for you to get the opportunity to look back on yourself, which was probably like, I don't know how long it took from the moment you recorded that till you actually saw it, but probably a couple months.
I'd say at least 6 or 8 months. Yeah.
Okay. So like 8 months later, and to look back at yourself,
Yeah.
right? And see like, oh my gosh, that's who I was 8 months ago. And this is who I am today. Like, yeah, just no words for that, but just amazing. And what a gift though to be able, because not everybody gets to look back at their old selves like that, right? But
True.
what a gift that you were able to. So
Yes.
beautiful.
Huge honor that was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
to be on that video,
Yeah.
which is such a great video as well. And was there a specific module that uh, you found that was part of this whole breakthrough that you had?
The emotional mastery module was very huge for me. There's a few exercises in there that had really profound impact. One of them helps us kind of work through immediate kind of anxious or whatever emotions and work through. And before that exercise, I really was struggling with PTSD driving. Of course, I mean, the
Yeah.
accident, right? After learning that exercise and implementing that exercise, like it literally is what got me back driving, which is pretty huge in my life anyways. So
Okay.
that module had a few big exercises that have been really transformative.
Yeah.
But there was also so many other things in other modules too, right? But I'd say the emotion module for me is, yeah, the most impactful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't even imagine that because I've been in a car accident where somebody did a left turn right in front of me and I was not hurt, thankfully. But for so long after that, every time I went through an intersection, I would almost stop and make sure there was nobody turning left before I would keep going. So I can't even imagine just how hard it was to be able to get back behind the wheel of a car and to feel confident in your driving.
It was a process.
Yeah, I'm sure that it was.
Well done.
Yeah.
Seriously though, like it takes courage to go through the process even of dealing with the emotions, let alone to then just put yourself back in there. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
so now, how has your life changed since completing EMF? What has this meant for your relationships, your career, your personal growth, anything? How is life different for you now, Christina?
Oh, it's different in so many ways. I literally feel happy almost all the time. I mean, I also experience negative emotions, but I no longer get stuck in them, and like I'm able to work through them and then get on with my day. And I've since taking EMF and learning the law of attraction and how manifestation actually works, I've attracted just like some such random, amazing, abundant type things out of nowhere, which that's a skill set I learned in EMF, and I'm pretty excited and interested to develop that skill set, because I think that with more, like with anything, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So yeah. And my work has totally changed. The relationships with the staff, like it doesn't bother me anymore, because I know their archetype, which is something we learned in EMF. And I think, they're just being that way because that's how they are. Like they're not doing it to irk me. Whereas before EMF, I would be like, why does she always do that? That drives me crazy. Like it's completely different experience at work. And same with family. I've got family that for years, it was like every time you talk to them, it's like, oh, they drive me nuts. But now I see things differently. I am different. Like the relationships have completely just, it's like all the negativity and stress has kind of dissolved away. And it's really nice. Like there was like my brother, for example, we had a falling out around a little while after the accident. I didn't necessarily try to rebuild the relationship, but it just came back in a different way. And I also attribute that to EMF, because I've changed. Like I hold myself differently. I have boundaries now, whereas I didn't before, which I think that, all those things create really beautiful relationships, as opposed to stressful ones where you don't know what you're doing with them, where you don't know what they're doing, and where you always feel let down. I don't feel let down by things anymore either, which is pretty cool. So yeah. And I don't feel lonely anymore. That was the big emotion I felt previously that definitely is dissolved. I've got such an amazing peer group now, like all over the world. Truly, I've met people. So yeah, I don't feel lonely at all anymore. So, and that's because of EMF for sure.
Wow. I I'm so heartwarmed by all of the experience and all of the beautiful positive changes that you've had come into your life. It just makes my heart sing for the changes that you've had. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, very powerful things happening there.
Yeah.
So with all of that, I was going to ask if you had any unexpected insights or breakthroughs, but perhaps maybe you could give us like maybe the biggest or the greatest insight or breakthrough that you had going through EMF.
Well, how about this? When I didn't expect that when I went through EMF a second time, that the lessons would hit at such a different level, and that I would be able to read through these exercises that I had done, a year and a half ago, and see the growth, like rereading my list of the things I used to complain about. now I'm just like, oh, I haven't complained about that for a long time. It doesn't bug me anymore, you know? So for me, it was the unexpected gift was going through it a second time and remembering some of the things and thinking, oh, I should do that. And that second time around, I picked up more of the habits and the more of the lessons. And it just, so that was the thing that I didn't expect to happen. I thought it was going to, I took this course, I learned all this stuff. Now this is how this is going to be. But no, it's so much more than that. If you go through it again and again, I think I think you're really going to experience, like, there could be long-term changes and successes. And yeah, this isn't a one and done, that's for sure. Going through it again is very impactful.
Right. That's a great reminder. I think, I don't know, I've just heard it before about other things, right? Like you'll hear a story, like maybe a fable, right? Even like a story that has a meaning, right? And when you're young, you hear it and it means one thing. And as you grow, you'll hear the same story, but now it has a completely different meaning. And I have to agree with you as someone who's gone through the program and then helping other people go through, and you listen to the lessons even, and you're like, if you look back on your notes, you're like, wow, I can't believe that's what I was thinking then. And now it still hits you, right? And you're like, wow, this is going to change how I do something, but it's at like a completely different level. So, ah, gorgeous.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I think that was such a great point to make, because when I first started at EMF and heard about these people who were taking resits of it,
Yeah, you're like,
I was like, what? Why are people resitting it? Wow. There is no way that you can learn everything that you go through in the 6 months. The 6 months is just to get through the topics. The real learning happens after you're done and when you start practicing and putting things into play. And yeah, I mean, you pick up something different every single time. And that's why we have to remember Peter's war cry of failure. I already know that, because that's one way to limit yourself. Such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so as we kind of bring this to a close, Christina, what would you say to somebody if you were speaking to somebody today that's considering taking EMF? And what would you tell them about your experience and why they should take the leap and join EMF?
Oh, well, I've already shared a lot of my experience, but I think you have to be willing to do the work. And if you are willing to spend the time and do the exercises, do the deep dives, work with your buddy, like if you're willing to do that, then I guarantee your life is going to have amazing shifts. And I mean, it might not be immediate. Like it's not like all of a sudden we're all living in mansions and driving really expensive vehicles, right? But all of the people in the program have these amazing shifts happening in their life, and they're able to hold things differently. And it's so beautiful. I would just really want everyone to be able to experience that. And it's pretty hard for you to experience that if you don't know these tools and you haven't learned these lessons and the rules and the underlying things that we don't learn about in school, like how the world works and the law of attraction. And so yeah, if you want to have profound and beautiful changes, then this is probably the best place for you to be able to do that. And it's also a lot of fun. Like when you get lined up with a buddy or on these group calls, you get to listen to each other. And I learned a lot from just other people on the calls, not just Peter. Like it's so much bigger. And that's the other thing is, especially I know a lot of people experience like loneliness during COVID, which is really the car accident for me was right when COVID happened. So I felt like
wow.
all of it at once. So I know that a lot of people really experience that. I wasn't the only one lonely at that time, but if you're still lonely, you really don't need to be, because there are things like these amazing community for one anyways out there. And yeah, just if you have crusty relationships with your family, this is probably another way that you'd be able to smooth those out. And not just myself, but other people in the community have had really beautiful stories of how, oh, I haven't talked to my daughter in 10 years and now we're doing this together. And it's just so, those types of things, that's why you should take EMF.
Well said. And right, what more important than to have better relationships in your life, right? Excellent. Well, Christina, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I think your story is inspiring and powerful. And I'm so glad that we get to be friends. And I have not spent any time really with you, but I look forward to at some point getting to meet up and do some things together. Um, for those of you out there watching, if any of this resonated with you or sounded like something you'd be interested in, like what are they actually talking about? For our program, like Debbie said, we have the 5 steps, tools to self-mastery that we have. You can just type in USM, which is short for Ultimate Self-Mastery. And I also wanted to invite everyone tonight too, because Christina mentioned that she is featured in the Rise documentary. So if you put Rise, so you could put Rise, USM, whichever, we can send you a link for that documentary. It's about an hour long. It's basically kind of talks about all the things that we did here, talks about the powerful changes that can happen and that have happened in multiple people's lives. So I invite you to connect with any of us here, Debbie, myself, or Christina. And I just want to say thanks again for watching. And Christina, thank you so much for sharing such a beautiful story. I'm so glad that we had the chance to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thanks everyone for listening and spending your time with us today.